On my feed, I've been seeing this channel blow up called His Story. As you can see right here, this guy's reacting to her story, but today I'm reacting to his story. Like, already there's a video. I'm a boy named Jennifer. Okay, but we can watch it. I'm a boy named Jennifer. Yo, I kind of want to watch. Nah, I'll just watch this.
The teacher pointed at me during my first day of freshman year and asked, "Is your name actually Jennifer?" I nodded in embarrassment, and the whole class erupted in laughter. My parents named me Jennifer to honor my late sister who died in the womb, and I lived my life.
Yeah. That's very wholesome. Very wholesome.
Embarrassed by the fact I was a boy named Jennifer. A kid I didn't know yelled, "Hey Jennifer, which bathroom does Jennifer use?" And I put my head down in shame. But then the door swung open. A rough-looking bald guy stormed in and grabbed the clipboard. He read the names of every girl, including Jennifer. "I expect to see you all at gymnastics tryouts tomorrow." I laughed at first because I definitely wasn't going to the girls' gymnastics tryouts, until I noticed something after class that made my stomach turn. Every girl was huddled in a group, shaking and terrified, whispering to each other. I've heard rumors about Mr. Johnson's gymnastics. Last year he hit a girl and she's now in a wheelchair because of him. I gasped in horror, and that night I stared at my boxing gloves. I'd learned boxing to defend myself when bullies targeted me for being named Jennifer. I thought about how scared the girls seemed of Mr. Johnson and realized that this time, being named Jennifer was my advantage. I walked into the girls' gymnastics tryouts next day, my
Why?
hands shaking on my wig to keep it from falling so nobody found out. The whole tryout, I watched Mr. Johnson verbally abuse us. He shouted at the girl with a bad knee to jump higher and threw his clipboard at me when I couldn't land a somersault.
Dang.
When a girl fell and twisted her ankle the wrong way,
Bro, she broke her leg.
she was on the ground screaming in pain, but Mr. Johnson stood over her and yelled, "Back on the beam." He blew his whistle in her ear, and that's when I couldn't take it. I stepped forward, clenching my fists. "Get away
Your time to shine.
from her." Johnson's jaw tightened. "She's being dramatic. Sit down, Jennifer." He grabbed my wrist to push me away, but I ripped free in front of everyone. I saw his face immediately twist in rage. "My students won't embarrass me." He swung his palm at my head, but I ducked and threw 2 clean right hooks into his jaw.
Oh, yeah.
I heard a crack, and as he slumped to the mat unconscious, my wig fell off. All the girls' jaws dropped, realizing a guy had infiltrated their gymnastic tryouts. I panicked and explained everything, and one of them immediately dialed 911. Paramedics carried out Mr. Johnson on a stretcher.
Well, you did not need to call the cops for them. He's fine. He is fine. Just blow a whistle in his ear and tell him to go back.
Next to the girl with the broken ankle. I was fine. The next day during roll call, Jennifer was called, and when I raised my hand, no one laughed. The teacher pointed at me during my first day of freshman year and asked, "Is your name actually Jennifer?" I nodded in embarrassment.
Okay, let's go to his channel. Popular videos. Dad hated that I was a...
Dad measured me for the 5th time that day and screamed,
Dad hated that I was taller.
"Why are you still 5'10"? I stared down at my 5'3" dad, and he glared. "Stop looking down at me. No son of mine will ever look down on me. We're going to fix this before it's too late." And so the next
What are you gonna do?
day, Dad came into my room with x-rays of my legs
Why is he running like that?
on me. "We're going to fix this before it's too late." And so the next day,
Look at this. Why is
Dad
he
came
running
into
so
my room.
jolly? Why is he running so jolly?
with x-rays of my legs
But he's jumping of jolly.
marked with red X's saying, "I found a surgeon who will remove these bones so that you can finally be shorter than me. I already scheduled the surgery."
Put the L Dad in the chat. Imagine being jealous of your own kid.
I stared in horror while Dad jumped around saying he couldn't wait to be taller than me. I knew I had to make the surgery impossible, so I started running 26 miles non-stop, and even though it hurt, I kept going until my legs gave out because I needed my bones to be so damaged they couldn't operate on me. And then on the day of my scheduled surgery, the doctor took one look at x-rays of my damaged legs and refused to operate on me. Dad got angry. "Why? He's perfectly fine." But the surgeon shook his head and pointed at the x-ray. "His bones are too damaged. If I cut into them, they could shatter, and a shard of bone could hit his heart. Your son could die." Dad crossed his arms. "I'm okay taking that risk. Just do it so he can be shorter than me." But the doctor kept saying no, and I thought it was finally over. But when we got home,
You'd rather your son die, but you're shorter than him. Oh, Dad, bro. Oh!
Dad grabbed his toolbox and said, "If a surgeon isn't going to fix this, then I'll do it myself." He chased me around the house screaming, "Get back here! You will be shorter than me!" I ran outside across the yard.
Just chop off his legs. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't condone violence.
And that's when Dad's foot got caught on the garden hose, and he fell down hard, and I saw both his legs were bent the wrong way. Dad screamed, and I called the ambulance, and when they arrived, paramedics loaded him onto a stretcher, while one of them questioned me. "How do you know this man?" he asked. When I said he was my dad, his eyes bulged, and he looked back and forth between my dad and me, and then suddenly asked, "How is he your dad? He's so short." Dad thrashed so hard in the stretcher when he heard a paramedic had to sedate him. Dad measured me for the 5th time that.
Bro, that's revenge.
My teacher looked at my drawing, covered her mouth, and ran out of the room screaming. Our assignment.
What was that scream? Like, who that?
Ran out of the room screaming. Our
What's that Pennywise all that?
assignment was to draw something that makes us happy.
What? But why in some episodes he's a grown man and some episodes he's a 2-year-old iPad kid? Like, what is this? Like, just pick one person. Are you 10? Are you 15? Are you 100?
So I drew me and my dad fishing at the lake.
But how do you remember this detail by detail? That's all.
Something we do every Saturday. I picked up my paper to
That's pretty wholesome.
see what she saw. 2 stick figures, a fishing rod, a lake, a building that said Larry's Bait and Tackle, and a fish that I even labeled fish in case there was any confusion. I had no idea what I did wrong. She came back with 2 security guards, still screaming, grabbed
Oh my god, her laugh is so chopped. But her scream is chopped to the cheese, bro.
my drawing off my desk and pointed at me like I was dangerous. They walked me out without saying
Guys, she's armed and dangerous.
a word and sat me down in Principal Carter's office. He had my drawing under a desk lamp like he was examining a ransom note. He looked up.
Dude, this guy's like Tyler Vitelli with little stuff. He's like, he's examining my drawing like a ransom note. Or he's making it funny like Tyler Vitelli. That's what I really like about this guy.
Explain this. I told him it's me and my dad fishing at the lake. He pointed at my stick figure's hand. You're telling me this is a fishing rod when I'm looking at a weapon. I
It's a weapon? You blind?
told him there's a line coming off it with a fish on the end. And
What do you think? We're just going on a boat to shoot fish? What do you think we're doing?
I literally wrote the word fish next to it.
Yeah, in case you're blind.
Mrs. Keller leaned in. It looks like he's aiming at the building. I told her it's Larry's Bait and Tackle where we buy worms, and he's facing the water because that's where fish live, and that's how fishing works.
You look at a drawing and say it's the shooting fish. Like, bro, you ever thought that was a fishing rod? Doesn't a fishing rod fit the scenario better than a gun? In my opinion.
Didn't understand how every adult in the room was looking at a fish and seeing a threat. Principal Carter picked up his phone and called my dad.
Dude, why is Principal Carter kind of crazy? How did put this dude in
Room
the
was
NBA?
looking at a fish and seeing a threat. Principal Carter picked up
It says
his phone and called my dad. Mr. Davis, your son drew an
Why did you put his feet on the table? He's gonna kick the dude in the head. I feel like.
image that appears to depict a school shooting. We
A school shooting? That is not a school!
need you here immediately. I sat there staring at my drawing, wondering how I ended up here. My dad showed up still in his work shirt with dirt on his hands and stopped in the doorway. Where is he? What did he draw? Principal Carter slid the drawing across the desk and my dad picked it up, stared at it, and laughed. Not a chuckle, a full laugh. This is from last Saturday. He pulled out his phone, turned it around, and the photo was right there. Me.
Yup. Yo, is this like... That is not a his story. What did I just do? Oops.
Fishing rod. Same building, same rod, same everything. He looked at the principal. Is everyone in this room slow?
Oh, yeah.
My son drew a fish, labeled it fish, drew a fishing rod, drew a bait shop, and you looked at that and saw a school shooting. Nobody said anything. You pulled my son out of class and called me at work because not one adult in this building stopped and said, hey, maybe that's a fishing rod. Mrs. Keller stared at the floor, and Principal Carter had nothing. My dad put the drawing in his pocket. We're done here. Let's go. Next art class, I drew Mrs. Keller and labeled it donkey in case there was any.
Yo, you tell me this is Miss Carter. Yeah, this is Miss Carter. Yep, that's a 100% accurate drawing in Miss Carter.
Seth Moulton has
A man climbed onto our school bus with a knife, and the first
That is not no knife. That's a blob saw.
a man climbed onto our school bus with
Bro, did he just pee himself? Why does he just pee on his shirt?
the knife, and the
That is not no knife. That looks like a chainsaw with a cow. Bro, You'll see a blade with a calculator under it.
First thing he heard was a slow clap from the back row. Confused, he screamed at our driver, Mrs. Worley, to keep driving and not stop for anyone. A kid leaned forward. Nice ski mask. Did you cut the holes out yourself or did your mommy help you? The whole bus laughed. He waved the knife around. Shut up and no one gets hurt. Your hand is shaking so hard I can't tell if that's a threat or a dance move. He stepped toward the kid who said it, and 20 voices started talking at once. Oh, he's walking now. Everybody watch out. He spun around trying to find who said what, but insults were coming from every direction. Bro seriously hijacked a bus with no plan, no getaway car, and a Walmart knife. This is the saddest crime I've ever seen. We wouldn't let him finish a single sentence. Are you robbing
We should have given him some.
us for money? All I have is an EBT card and a bus pass. He pointed his knife at Mrs. Worley, and the whole bus went silent. A kid stood up. You can threaten us
But it's Chester. I hate this guy.
all you want, but if you point that thing at Mrs. Worley again, we're gonna have a real different conversation. He laughed nervously and asked what a bunch of kids were going to do about it. A girl said, we're on the bus to the school for troubled teens. Half of us are here for assault, and the other half won't say why. Mrs. Worley looked at him over her shoulder. Honey, I've watched these kids make grown men cry over smaller things than pointing a knife at me. He lowered the knife. Smart choice. She brings us donuts on Fridays. We protect what matters. His face twisted, and he shoved toward the kid with the knife raised. Mrs. Worley pulled over, stood up, and stepped
Why only 4 donuts?
between them. That's enough now. He grabbed her arm and shoved her into the dashboard. For half a second, the bus was completely silent. Then a kid came over the seats like something feral, and 3 others were right behind him. The guy didn't have time to turn.
You're back.
Came over the seats like something feral, and 3 others were right behind him.
Bro.
The guy didn't have
What is this drip? Bro has like 3 sizes too
Time to
small and he has pee on
turn
his
around before someone hit him in the back of the knees and he went down. The knife skittered under the seats and kids were on top of him before he could reach for it. Someone had him in a headlock while someone else pinned his arms. A girl sat on his legs and went through his pockets just to add insult to injury. Mrs. Worley pressed the emergency button. I need police at my location. Tell them there's no rush. The situation is handled. The guy was crying. Please get off me. I can't breathe. A kid leaned close to his face. You should have thought about that before you touched Mrs. Worley. When the cops showed up, they found him tied to a seat
touched.
with shoelaces and snot running down his face. A man climbed onto our... In the middle of a test, the sprinklers started spraying. Everyone instantly screamed, "Ah!" But I realized it wasn't water spraying on us. Someone yelled, "What is this? What is on us?" We all tried to stand up and run, but everyone was slipping. The alarm blared, and the principal yelled on the speaker, "Everyone needs to get out of the building immediately. There is an active threat inside." But just before we could get out, our teacher stepped in the way. He said, "Wait."
Her story time. She looks tasty. Oh! We watched it. Now this was sort of randomly. I was. I wanna. I don't know what the fits was. She hated. I watched flashback to school.
I walked half the day after my sister Maggie got engaged. She made me her. My daughter Callie pushed her breakfast. I was giving my dad one last chance to. I was mid-sentence. I grabbed my doctor's arm.
Blah, blah.
Every night my mom would pour salt around me and my brother and scream, "All these horror games are letting spirits into our home." My mom did this for me every night. Now I'm doing it for us. Me and Finn would always roll our eyes, but one night I whispered, "If she believes in ghosts, then we have to be the ones to prove they're not real. She can't live in fear forever." Finn didn't understand my plan, but he nodded and was ready to go along with it anyway. We waited until the house was completely dark and Finn scraped a chair leg across the hallway floor to make mom think that there were ghosts in the house. We could hear mom jump up in her room. and I laughed because I knew she was thinking that the house was haunted, which meant our plan was working. We were going to show her it was just us, and she would realize there was never any ghosts in the house. Suddenly, we could hear her whispering through the wall, fast and low, the same words over and over, like she was talking to somebody that wasn't there. We both froze, not knowing what was going on. Finn's head whipped around to the dark hallway. "Do you hear that?" I stopped to listen. There was a scratching sound. I went toward it and put my hand on the door. My hand froze on the knob. On the other side, the scratching stopped right where I stood, and a voice came through the wood, low enough that only I could hear. "You let me in, thank you." I let go.
Oh, that even scared me, bro.
Backed down the hall, and Finn and I ran to Mom's room. She was sitting up in bed, staring at the salt smeared into the carpet. She'd never been crazy, just scared first, and we'd spent all night showing it the way in. Every night my mom would pour salt.
Is there a part 2? Pretty good. I'll give it a like. I'll give it a like.
My ex called me paranoid for worrying about the bounce house at my
What is this bounce house? You climbing in his mouth, bro?
daughter's birthday, right before it ripped loose with all 8 kids still inside.
Why's there a house in
He showed up uninvited that afternoon with his new girlfriend and a cake that said, "From Daddy," in pink frosting, telling everyone he was the one who got the bounce house. He walked around my backyard like he'd built it himself. When the wind picked up and the whole thing started swaying, I called the kids over for cake. He waved me off. "You're being paranoid as usual. Stop trying to ruin this." Then he turned around and started lifting kids back in through the flap. The first stake ripped out of the ground before anyone could move. The second one went a breath later, and the whole bounce house lurched sideways. I sprinted for it, but the wind had already caught it like a sail, and it was moving faster than I could run, fishtailing across the lawn and clipping the folding table hard enough to send juice boxes flying. Chloe's face hit the mesh window, both hands pressed flat against it. The structure tilted, and she slid backward out of view. I screamed her name.
Fun. That looks fun.
2 of the dads grabbed the ropes, and one got dragged 3 yards before he let go. I dove for the flap as another gust hit and started dragging kids out as fast as I could grab them, counting under my breath until I got to 7. But Chloe wasn't one of them, and the bounce house was sliding straight for the fence with her still trapped inside. I shoved my arm through the flap and felt her fingers. I pulled harder than I'd ever pulled anything, and she came loose just as the frame slammed into the fence and folded in half. 8. Every one of them on the grass, crying but breathing. The wreckage settled against the fence, and the whole backyard went quiet. A fire captain showed up and found paperwork showing the rental company had been banned from operating for 8 months. My ex got to him first, pointing at me. "This is her party, her backyard. She let those kids climb back in." I felt my stomach drop because it was working. The captain was buying it, but his girlfriend spoke up loud enough for the whole yard to hear. He picked the cheapest one he could find. He said now that he lost custody, he wasn't spending real money on her. He just wanted everyone to think he was a good dad. My ex didn't say a word. Chloe ran straight past the cake that said "From Daddy" and grabbed my legs. I just held on while we watched the cops walk my ex out in handcuffs. My ex called me paranoid for work.
How much history do that? I'm gonna watch one more. I'm gonna watch 2 more of these, and then I'm gonna end it.
I stuck my tongue out against the frozen metal pole to show.
Why would you do that? You realize that your tongue is gonna get stuck. I hope you realize that. I hope you realize that. That's good for you.
My friend wouldn't stick,
That's
but when
good
I
for
tried to
you.
pull it back, I
Good
couldn't.
for
My
you.
heart sank, and my friend instantly started laughing. I screamed,
Why are you laughing? Her tongue is stuck in my head. Why are you laughing?
"Eyes not, honey, hell me!" But when she tried yanking me back, my tongue stayed frozen on the pole. I began panicking because I couldn't let anyone see me like this, and that's when my friend got an idea.
You really got people seeing you like that? If I were you, I would probably be worried about you being stuck there, not somebody seeing you.
She pulled out her thermos of hot tea and started pouring it over my tongue. I screamed in pain immediately, and she stopped, but my tongue stayed frozen, and my scream was so loud a crowd had now gathered around me. People were shouting ideas and filming, and someone called the fire department. I stood there crying, still frozen to a pole. A fire truck soon pulled up, and the firefighters circled me, trying to figure out what to do. One of them hooked a chain around the pole and attached it to their truck, and my whole body went cold with fear. I shook my head no, but the driver hit the gas. The entire pole ripped clean out of the ground, and I fell backwards with it, but my tongue was still somehow frozen to the metal. I lay in the snow with a pole attached to my face, but that's when my dad stepped out in his slippers. He looked around, muttered "morons" to himself, and crouched down next to me. "Just cup your hands around your tongue." I wrapped my gloved hands around my tongue, and within seconds, the trapped heat melted the ice right off. I stuck my numb tongue back in my mouth and stared at the dozens of people, the firefighters, and the pole on the ground. I stuck my tongue out against the frozen.
Well, your dad cursed.
I was
I should have listened to my dad.
I was preparing for the dog
Nobody believed in my
competition. I was scrolling through the twin day photos on
My
my
best
phone,
friend-
waiting for my best friend Jade to get back from the bathroom, when the fire alarm pierced.
She saw the
I ducked into the cafeteria of my new
They
school.
called me LeBron. Bet. Let's see.
And a kid laughed and pointed, "Yo, check it out, an NBA player is here." I sighed and tried to ignore him while he made fun of me because it's not like I chose to be 6'5", but the
Bro, why would you get clowns for being 6'5"? That's Laura.
entire cafeteria started laughing at me and banging on the tables. "LeBron, LeBron." I froze and hunched over, trying to make
If people call you LeBron,
myself look as small as possible. All I wanted was to get through one day without being the thing people pointed at. When school ended, I was walking towards the sports hall when 3 kids wobbled towards me while walking on stilts. "Look," one of them said, grinning. "We look just like you." I blinked back the tears in my eyes and pretended not to care, and I walked in to try out for the girls' basketball team, the only place where being a 6'5" girl was actually useful. I started speaking to the coach, thinking that this would be my moment, but he took out a measuring tape and started measuring my height. "Honestly, you'd be better off on the boys' team." He pointed to the other side of the court, and I slowly walked over and gulped, not knowing what their reaction would be. Their tallest kid shoulder-checked me going past. "You sure you're in the right league, LeBrona?" They all keeled over laughing, and I went red and wanted to give up on myself. Their coach clapped me on the shoulder. "The game is next Friday. Usually I'd make a newbie do the training drills, but since you're the tallest one here, you'll be all right." I nodded like I knew what I was doing, but I'd never played a game against men before in my life. A week later, I jogged out to the court while the entire school watched. When I turned to the audience, I saw every single student had LeBron masks on. They all chanted and laughed, "LeBrona, LeBrona." I blocked out the sound
LeBron.
and put on my game face. When the game started, I bricked my first 3 shots. I kept catching myself hunching, folding down, taking up less room on the court, until I caught my reflection in the gym doors, all curled up and small. I was so tired of doing that. So I stopped, and for the first time ever, I stood up to my full height. Next possession, their big kid drove at me, and I swatted his shot out of the air. I grabbed the loose
Nice.
ball, took 2 dribbles, and went up right over him. The whole gym heard the rim shake. I hung there for a second. Below me was a sea of LeBron masks, all on their feet now, screaming my name. "Go LeBrona, you're the GOAT!" The same name that used to make me feel small was now making me feel unstoppable. Everyone was pointing at me, but for the first time, I wanted them to. I ducked into the cafeteria of my new school, and a kid laughed.
Who in his story was better? Low-key, in my opinion, I honestly liked his story video. But after that, further ado, let's go. Peace out. Bye-bye.